Do we really have to? I seriously wanted to hibernate. This morning everybody. Sam here, United People's TV, here to run through the glory of that game last night. United against Everton. Look, anybody who's been part of the United People's TV community for long enough will know that it's not that I will always be a glass half full person, but I will always look at a game and try and objectively see what went wrong and what went right. I'm telling you, there is nothing apart from Shea Lacey being on the bench and Martinez being back from injury last night that you can come at me with from a positive perspective. That wasn't just a step backwards. That was just like getting sucked through a black hole back to the end of that Brentford game. We'd just been 5 undefeated. We'd just won 3 in a row. We just had Manager of the Month from October. It was absolutely diabolical, that game last night. Really, really was. I'm going to run through all the reaction. Amorim's comments, De Ligt's comments, Gary Neville's really harsh assessment, which I can't disagree with anything that he said. It's just a really, really bad one for the club. A really, really bad one for Amorim and all the players. As I said, nobody came out of that unscathed. United taking advantage of an opportunity. Okay, lads. Man, they default to character. Let me say hello to everybody, and I'll try and get on with today's show. Carl, good morning to you. JC, Stephanie, good morning to you. Maddie, hello. Everyone try and make me feel better today. It's not going to be possible. I'm going to be in a bad mood. Lisa, we've got John, we've got D and Nick. Toby, can I... look, dude, man. Can you just go out there and give some... Can you give something to these United players? Can you give something to Amorim? Man, it was just like a repetition of... Someone talk to me about the game. Right? Just someone talk to me about what you saw. I don't want to hear a goddamn word about Cunha being injured. About Šeško being injured. I want to hear absolutely none of it. Everton had 10 men for 75 minutes, people. 7-5. That is the first time in 46 times, the first loss in 46 times that United have played against a team at Old Trafford that's gone down to 10 men. Cantona, you're saying was at the game, and you're saying you've never seen worse. Man, it was brutal beyond belief, that loss. As I said, I hate to be somebody who is seen as like a doom mongerer. Somebody who's like seen as just sort of like spreading fuel onto the flames where it's not necessary. But I on my bloody life, like there is nothing that I can pull out from that game last night. It was just, again, I think Gary Neville got it bang on. That was an erosion of trust and belief. Like, it's not as if we've been incredible in these last 5 games prior to that. Obviously, we've got the 3 games in succession there. Forest could take opportunity, never mind. Spurs, opportunity, never mind. Everton, opportunity, never mind. And now we've got a 12 p.m. kickoff against Crystal Palace coming up next. I'm going to read some of your chats out. JC, I see you down there as well, dude. Thank you for gifting. Thank you to everyone for joining in. Share my pain. Richie's saying you're talking about the system. Hey, look, I think if there was anybody that has detractions and concerns about the system, last night was where they were on display, naked and bare. Playing 2 fullbacks effectively as wing-backs. Sticking with the back 3, going into the last half an hour of the game, when you've got 1 man up front in Barry, and 1 man in Barry who was still winning the bloody ball. That really, really pissed me off. Every time the ball went up to Barry, 1 dude nobody within like 10, 15 yards of him wins the ball every single time. Like, you're kidding me. Mate, this was last month. Nick, you're saying you don't like Mazraoui at right wing back. I've never liked Mazraoui at right wing back. Mazraoui is not a right wing back. End of story. Never has been, never will be. Don't need that game last night to tell me that. Don't need that game last night to show me that. Dalot is not a left wing back. Bombshell moment. Chixie is saying, why is he adamant to play Ahmad at number 10? I wouldn't say he's adamant to play Ahmad at number 10 because Cunha was out and Šeško was out. So it was a rejigged United. But playing Ahmad at number 10 yesterday, it didn't work. And it took away any threat United had down that right-hand side. The table, look, we're 10th, sure. We're 3 points off 4th. Like, that game doesn't end the season as far as positions in the table goes. But in terms of how I feel about watching United, in terms of how my bloody confidence is as a fan going in and talking about and watching United, it's like, man, they're just like pissed all over the chips. They're just standing, they're just like punching themselves in the face. This is what Amorim said after the game, right? It's not as if he held back either.
When I say it's my responsibility to explain the game. And today was not one mistake of one individual, it was the team. The way we see the results of the weekend, we should get inside the pitch with a different excitement. That is my feeling. It doesn't matter if you are playing well, making good passes, but the feeling. And Old Trafford was there saying, if we are all here to give a big step up. And I felt that we were not ready. Again, these 5 weeks, everyone is praising our evolution. I'm always saying the same things. We are not even near what the moment we're supposed to be in this club.
So that was his comments after the game, right? I think it's fair to say that United weren't ready. Right? This is why the anger was so fierce after that game. Like, lads, you just had 16 days. International break. 16 days. Time at the training ground. Time away from the club. Reset. Prepare yourself. 16 days to get ready to play Everton at Old Trafford. Cunha's missing. That's fine. Šeško's missing. All right. It's not ideal. But City lost at the weekend. Liverpool lost at the weekend. Spurs lost at the weekend. Opportunity knocks. Never mind. They played like they played 2 days ago. Away at Barcelona. Exhausted. No energy left. Oh my God, can't possibly handle this game. Like, you can lose a game of football. You can lose it. There is no shaming losing a game of football. But there is a shit ton of shame in what you showed against Everton. It was a shameful performance. That's what it was. Like, I'm going to really go in hard on Amorim's system from that game yesterday, because that's when I think that's probably the worst example that we've seen of it. The fact that we didn't switch it up during the game. I'm probably not even talking about the system. I'm more talking about the personnel. But it's just, I hate how I need a haircut. I hate how predictable this club is when it comes to that next step up. Winning that game yesterday, like, the whole narrative shifts. It's a pure focus on crisis club, Liverpool. I saw the Telegraph article, but like, some people are starting to question Thomas Frank already. That's fine, right? Just turn Sauron's eye over towards Spurs and Liverpool. Let us just chill in the in the background. Instead, straight back into the fucking middle of it. You idiots, man. Like, it's just such an unbelievable, what would you call it? It's not even a lack of preparation. Like, don't come at me saying that more time in a training ground is going to change anything now. Because I can't believe that now. I cannot possibly believe that. And John, you're talking about it being a weak squad. Yeah, I know that the fact that we are only playing one game a week means that those players who are on the fringes don't really get the opportunity to get any game time because we've only got a bloody Prem. And that's the one game that you can't balls up on. So you're going to play your strongest 11. Like Xerxes was... Drew's out on Xerxes. Yeah. I feel sorry for him. It's that position where, as a fringe player, you've got to come in and absolutely nail it. Because if you don't, your opportunity's gone. I think the opportunity is gone for Xerxes now. Because every single time the ball went to him, bounced off him. It was like Hoyland last season. Really, really annoyed me. Neil, you're saying Amorim's stubbornness in the formation and sub-choice after the red card is frustrating. Like Shaw playing with no urgency. I mean, I'm going to run through that soon, but... Richard, you're saying, do you think this is a fair game to judge Xerxes? Dude, we play once a week. Like, you can come at me and say, like, it's not fair. We have to give Xerxes 4-5. You're not going to get that, lad. You're simply put, you're not going to get it. It's like Dorgu. Like I said, Spurs game, I think it was probably one of Dorgu's better performances this season. But you cannot follow up a 6.5 out of 10 performance with a straight 2. You can't do it. United, you can't go and win 3 games in a row and then put in the same performances against Forest and Spurs, drop 4 points from winning positions when you're 2-0 up twice, and then go and do that against Everton. You can't do it. You have to have consistency. That's the thing that's why we're still stuck in this almost like never-ending loop that just kind of pulls you back in. And not in a good way. It's just insipid. I don't even know what word do you want to use to describe that performance yesterday? Like, complacency? No, it's not even complacency. I would say the first 10 minutes, Everton just came out the blocks significantly better than United. And that was after Ruben Amorim said that we needed to play at 100 miles an hour from the first whistle. Like, they just didn't. They just did not. And it's at Old Trafford. Right, I'm going to read some more comments. Danny is saying, Ruben Amorim hasn't got a clue. Playing 5 defenders against a team with 10 men and bringing on Delo. Oh, man, that Delo sub hurt me. That Delo sub really hurt me. I was looking at the bench. We'll speak about that. I'm actually going to run through tactics and stuff. We can have a conversation about maybe what could have happened instead. Someone down there, I don't care about other people's headlines. They can do what they want. And down there, you're saying everyone's concentrating on the system. It wasn't ideal, but player application was the main problem. Dude, I don't think there's anything that you can possibly gloss over last night. Like, really cannot. I mean, like, full scorn towards the system, full scorn towards the subs, full scorn towards the player performances, to individuals, to the team. Like, everything, everybody. There is nobody who doesn't deserve the exact same level of criticism last night. There's no player that's exempt. There's no system that's exempt. There's no manager that's exempt. It's just a collective, just abysmalness. Right? And I think the thing that annoyed me the most last night was this. It feels like it anyway. Right? 2 screenshots. Shaw on the ball there, Yoro on the ball there. They must have both had the ball in this exact position on the left and the right-hand side. I'm talking like... It feels like somewhere between 10 and 20 times each. Probably more than that, if I'm being completely honest. Right? Every single time. Ball out wide to Ahmad. Ball out wide to Delo or Dorgu. Ball out wide to Ahmad. Ball out wide to Delo or Dorgu. Never once did I see Yoro or Shaw attack the back line, drag an Everton player out of position, maybe try a little ball in behind, try a little cross yourself. I don't know. Take a little risk. It was the most risk adverse thing. Shaw's got a pass on him. Yeah, John, I would normally ignore comments like that, I suppose. But cowardly is the only way I can use to describe that. That's a sort of I'm not taking the responsibility to do it. Bruno, you do it, man. Nah, I don't want it. You do it. I think if I'm going to probably criticise the system, and what we're going to do in a little bit, by the way, we're going to take a look at the teams, take a look at the bench, and then we'll say, well, what could have been done differently? Because I think there were definitely ways that could have been done differently. But it was just... Everton went down to 10 men. You can see their system there. What they got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on their back line. 7-2-1 is their current formation there. I when it comes to a lot of what Gary Neville has to say these days, it makes me kind of frustrates me sometimes. But I'm telling you, he got it spot on last night. I'm going to read out some of your comments here. Someone down there saying it's not the system, it's the application. Hey, dude, the system was part of it last night. Let's be completely bloody honest, all right? Let's not try and beat around the bush. United still had 3 centre-backs on when Barry was the only man up front. Now, is that the stick? Well, you could have... In this position here, I want you to be Kobe Mainu. I want you to be Bruno Fernandes. And the exact same goes for this position here. I don't want Luke Shaw receiving this ball here. I want Mason Mount receiving it there, or Bruno, or I don't know, someone else, someone creative, somebody whose job is not to defend. So kind of Shaw and Yoro were just doing their job as defenders. Don't lose the ball. You're the last line. If we lose the ball as last line players, we're probably going to lead to a chance for the opposition. That's their natural instincts. It was the wrong people receiving the ball in these situations, and it was these situations that United could easily have taken so much more advantage of by having different personnel being there. And I think that was down to pretty poor in-game management from Ruben Amorim. Very poor application from the players, but it's a combination of both of those two things. I can have a go at Yoro and Shaw as much as I want to, but I don't think either of them really should have been in those positions. I think Luke Shaw should have been out wide. Luke Shaw should have been out wide. In fact, we can go and look at this now, really. It's something that I think, what happened in that game? So Mazraoui went off, and Ahmad came over here. Dorgu went off. Bloody Delo came on. And that was pretty much it. In fact, I think that was it. I don't know. Who went in there? Mason Mount came on and went in left attacking midfielder. So that's what happened there, right? John, you're saying that John Shaw did for the last 10 minutes. It sure didn't do it for the last 10 minutes or so, man. Shaw rarely... How many overlaps did he do? How many times did he go around the outside? Look, if Martinez is fit enough to be on the bench, and the fact that we knew that he wasn't really going to have to cover that much ground, that's something I would have loved to have seen. Martinez in that position. If we had Martinez in that position there, mate, that dude's swinging in crosses. Not just swinging in crosses. That dude is finding vertical passes. You know exactly what I mean. Those sorts of balls there, in and around the corner. If Shaw and Yoro had more creativity in them, man, we would have created so many more chances last night. And look, if Martinez wasn't completely fit to play there, Aiden Heaven would have probably done it. But keeping Delo as that option on that left-hand side was absolutely killing us. Absolutely killing us. As soon as that sub happened, I think we all collectively just like, we all just went, ugh. As soon as it happened. Someone down there saying we need Shaw playing left wing back and Martinez playing left centre. I think that's probably going to happen when he's fit, but I don't know. Kobe obviously came on for Casemiro in the second half. Forgot about that. I don't really think Kobe... Unfortunately, I feel like I'm going to put Kobe in quite a similar category, to what I would say about Shaw and Yoro. I wouldn't say there was too much in terms of risk-taking. I think that was a team collect, apart from Bruno. And this is one reason why I will always defend this bloke. I will always defend Bruno against anybody because I know that if there's one characteristic I want in every single Manchester United player, I want them to be able to take risks, to be able to take responsibility. And nobody Bruno Fernandes does not shy away from that at any point. He was the only one who nearly got a goal yesterday, right? And I think yesterday's the prime example of what happens when you watch a Manchester United team, when you have players who do not want to take said responsibility. Pass. You do it. I'm not taking that. No, I don't want to be the one that balls it. No, you take it. Like, you come up there saying, Bruno's risk-taking was sloppy. Risk-taking is sloppy. That is what a risk is. If risk-taking wasn't sloppy, everybody would be able to do it. Be the bloody easiest thing in the world to do. It's the whole concept of risks. Risk, reward. If it works and it pays off, you probably create a goal-scoring opportunity. If it doesn't work, you're going to have to get your head down, get back into position and cover yourself. Maybe your teammate will cover you. If you ballsed up and made a mistake, make sure you don't make your mistakes too close to your own goal. It was the lack of risk-taking that was killing me last night. The system was part of that. The subs were part of that. The players themselves were part of that. It was just a collective, just abysmal performance. These didn't spoil a weekend. Spoiled a week instead. Right, let me see what you're saying in the chat. Surely Kobe last night is an Amorim. He brought him on to sit in the box next to Xerxes. Neither of them can do that job. Was he in the box? You know what really annoyed me last night as well? So you're finally going to start swinging balls into the box when you're not playing Šeško? I was like, come on. We turned into Crosses FC when we've actually taken away the person who's going to get onto the end of these crosses. Xerxes, to be fair to him, probably the best chance that we had, other than Bruno's shots. It was a great save by Pickford. It was a good header by Xerxes. But you're picking that out. That was it. We were firing crosses into the box when we have nobody in there who was really going to get on the end of them. Well, Mason Mount. Well, Ahmad at the back stick. And Mbumo wasn't really playing central. It's so frustrating. I've been wanting United to swing more crosses into the box kind of all season long because we've got Šeško in there. And the bloody moment he's out of it, we start firing crosses into the box. Like, there's different ways to break down a low block. And accurate crosses is one of them. But you don't have Maguire on the pitch. You don't have Šeško on the pitch. You've literally... We just ran out of ideas. And look, as I said, I've been frustrated with quite a bit of Gary's commentary and sort of kind of pointing the finger unnecessarily at United players. I'm telling you what, everything he said last night is just bob on, right? It's what he said on his own podcast. It's if they've imagined in their heads they're going to be in the Champions League place. They thought that maybe before the game. It smelt of complacency. They weren't at it from the beginning. That is a bad one for United. I think they've been a lot better in the last few weeks, but that probably takes us back to Brentford away. That and this bit here is you can't go from the fight that they showed in certain games to that performance against Everton. because it does. It erodes confidence. It erodes trust. We're trying to build trust in a manager and trying to build trust in a team. The fans booed collectively at the end. It was loud and rightly so. It was a really poor performance. It's almost as if you've gone 2 steps forward, then you've gone back to the start again. You cannot lose football matches like that. You're allowed to lose football games. Like someone down there saying, I don't want to hear from Neville. You can say what you want, dude. Bury your head in the sand. It's absolutely spot on here. There is nothing wrong with losing a game of footy, ladies and gents. Whether it's Everton, whether it's Forest, whether it's City, whether it's Liverpool away. There is no shame in losing a game of football. It is a game. Sometimes you will lose. But if you lose because you haven't prepared yourselves properly, if you lose because you've completely approached the game with the wrong attitude, if you lose because for 75 minutes you were playing against 10 men and you wouldn't know it, Everton having 10 men became an advantage for them. And that a comment I will agree with. The bloody low block. Any time United play against the low block, mate, it's like, honestly, if you're an opposite, like Crystal Palace, why would you play anything? To be honest, it depends on how. That is how Crystal Palace play, by the way. They have been operating this season quite effectively in a very disciplined low block. It's basically the worst system that we can play against, I would say, is Glasner's Crystal Palace. And I'm not just saying that as sort of like doom and gloom. I'm just being serious because we were doing all the research into Adam Morton. That's how Glasner's Palace has been playing, and they've been doing it very effectively. And they're very good at it. If you play United, you just have to play a very disciplined low block and hit hard and fast on the counter. You do that, you're probably gonna win. Give them possession. Give them the ball, lads. And that's what I mean. That's why that red card actually hurt United more than helped United, because United have been better this season in games where we've had less of the ball, less responsibility, more emphasis on transitions. In games where we go into it with an expectation from fans. And it's not our fault, by the way. Not our fault. You're allowed to expect, as a Manchester United fan, going into a Spurs game where they have been crap all season, awful, and their home record is atrocious. You can go in there expecting United to actually put in a pretty damn decent performance and, say it quietly, might win that game. Sod that. Last 15 minutes, can't cope with that. 2-1 down, De Ligt came up with it. You can go into the Everton game at home after 5 unbeaten, after the weekend that's happened. Like, Amorim was saying it after the game, like, after the results of the weekend, everybody should come to Old Trafford tonight, like, excited. Every single one of those players should have been coming into that ground, like, bouncing. They've seen Liverpool, and we're not the crisis club anymore, lads. Come on, Liverpool are. That puts a spring in my step. Mate, they all look like they were hungover. Let me go down and read some chats. And I'm probably kind of shouting at you a little bit today, but like just good, like, top job, lads. You've well done on undoing some form of momentum that you built. And look, Madhouse, I don't disagree with that whatsoever. We'll go and beat Palace now, maybe. That's the way it goes, and United might win a couple of games in a row. But, I think for United from this point to, really sort of change how I look at this bloody team, they're going to have to win, 4 or 5 games on the bounce. Because they've just shown me, they've shown to me right there, that even if you've won 3 in a row, and you've drawn 2, and you're undefeated in 5, and then you've got a 2-week break, and you're playing Everton at Old Trafford, sure, there's a couple of injuries. Yeah, fine. It's not an excuse for what we just saw. I can't trust you. You cannot be trusted. Doesn't matter how much you're paid. Doesn't matter what you do in training. Doesn't matter what you say in an interview. Doesn't matter what's happened before. You've just proven to me again, I can't trust you. How can I, as a fan? And it must be what Amorim's thinking as well. And then shoe on the other foot. As I said, I think last night was really the worst example of Ruben Amorim's system having flaws in certain games, in certain situations. I think that was it there. Playing against 10 men, playing against effectively like a 6-3-1, 7-2-1, whatever it was. Like, they were defending that. Everton defended fantastically. All credit to them. But in that situation, like, I think it's what I've always said about Amorim's system. People talk about adaptability and flexibility. And I've always felt it all just revolves around what you do with the wing-backs. It really does. If you play 2 full-backs as your wing-backs, like, for example, let's just look at this, right? Right now, so you've got... Let's go back to that. Go back to that start 11. Ahmad was there. You had Mazraoui there. And then you had Casemiro there. Right? Now, on paper, that looks like a very defensively minded formation. You've got Mazraoui on there probably because of Grealish. Let's get Dorgu on there as well. And Jai was a problem all game. Grealish, but realistically, you've probably got Mazraoui there because of Grealish. You've got 2 fullbacks playing as wingbacks. Alternatively, you could have... One second there. Dorgu off. Shaw there. Ahmad as your right wing back. Mount on there. That's it, isn't it? No, and then you go probably... Look, if... Let's say he wasn't fit. Or in fact, you could probably do this. If you even really want to keep it to the same 11, you play like that. And all of a sudden, I'd say a formation that was looking defensively minded before looks better. You've got Luke Shaw playing as a full left wing back. You've got Ahmad playing as your right wing back. It's when you play, and I'll be honest, like you kind of want a winger playing there as well. It's when you play full backs as your wing backs, it makes this system feel really, really slow. Because everybody's naturally minded to pass it sideways and backwards to somebody else instead of taking his man on, instead of looking for that run in behind there. Man, it was a really, really bad performance last night, right? Amorim there saying, look, he feels afraid of returning to this feeling of last season. That's what that game felt like. And I'll tell you something as well. I haven't actually. I think I've seen Ruben speak about this. Let me quickly check. Yeah, here. It really does feel that United had no preparation for if there's a red card, this is what happens. This is how it switches. I think it was mentioned during the game, but that's pretty much what you're saying there. Look, it's my fault. I need to be better to explain to the players how to play in every situation. It really does feel like United just didn't know what to change when they went down to 10 men. I mean, I imagine that's quite an obvious scenario that you prep for. Like, red cards happen in football. I wouldn't say that's something that you have to specifically plan for the Everton game, but surely you should, as a team, know what to do if a red card happens and taking advantage of the extra space that now exists on the pitch. Now, you might go at me and say, well, hold on, Sam. Surely that's kind of down to the players as well to spot the spaces, because it's going to be very hard to prepare, because It could be a centre-back that gets sent off. It could be a striker that gets sent off. Therefore, the player and what position they're playing, it kind of changes. How can you prepare for every one of those? And I'll be like, okay, semi-fair enough. But it feels like a massive oversight. That was as bad as it could have been, right? It really was. Let me see what you're saying down here. I might miss the super chats. And you're saying bipolar. It's the only way you can use to describe United. Yeah. Jekyll and Hyde. Formation is nothing without the effort. I know it always goes down to these at this point in these conversations in these days. You kind of have like just a battle, not a battle, but just like the two different perspectives looking in. Whether you're looking towards the players, whether you're looking towards the formation, whether you're looking towards the manager, and I promise you, I'm looking at every single one of them equally annoyed today. Amorim, I thought the subs were uninventive. I don't think that they would have been the subs that I would have wanted. Like, as soon as Delo came on at left wing back, like we all went, really? Like, come on. We didn't need 3 centre-backs the entire game. Like, sure, play 3 centre-backs in position, but make it so that it wasn't Yoro and Shaw receiving the ball in those positions. Like, the subs were ineffective. The in-game management didn't manage the game in-game. It didn't change the tempo. It didn't change anything. The game continued in the exact same format, and I actually felt Everton at certain points were more likely to score than us. Like Kilmo, you're down there saying, what about Xerxes? He almost scored. I'm like, dude. Yeah, he did. It was a good cross. I think it was from Shaw. It was a good header. It was a good save. Xerxes, every single time the ball went up to him in that first half, it bounced off his foot. It just bounced off his foot. It was like last season, it was like watching Højlund. It's the exact thing that I hated watching last season. My sympathy for Xerxes only extends so far. I'll be totally honest. I know it's difficult. I know it's hard when you don't have that many minutes, and I know that the levels that you need to play at are probably unfairly higher, but that's just what it is, man. You're on the fringes of playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, man. This is an opportunity that will slip through your fingers, and it will leave unless you perform. And in this day and age, you just don't get that extra time at Man United, and especially when you're only playing once a week. You just don't get it. It just doesn't come. Right? Cunha was injured. Šeško was injured. That was your opportunity there, my friend. Wasn't taken. And I tell you what, Tarkowski got right in his head straight away, and it probably affected how he played. He went straight into the back of him, off the ball. That was so calculated from Tarkowski. Like, it wasn't like an accidental run into the back of him. That was probably a pre-planned, right, he's going to be a little bit up. So if you just get into the back of him, just show him that you're there sort of tackle. Kicked him right in the back. Xerxes went down, then went up, got angry in his face, and then Tarkowski just kind of had the run of him for the rest of the game. He knew that he could just get aggressive, knew that he could get close, and he couldn't do anything. And every single time the ball went to him, it bounced off him. You won't get opportunities. He might start against Crystal Palace, maybe. I don't quite know. Like, if Cunha's fit, we're going to hope so. Then Cunha's going to come back in. Mount will be in that starting 11. Christ, play Luke Shaw left centre back. Play Martinez as left-sided centre back. Harmony. Sam, we're here complaining. Please, do you think Amorim should still be in this job? Because I'm tired of seeing him saying things in presses and different things on the pitch. Like, if you think I'm going to be... coming here screaming Amorim out, all this and all that. You're not going to get it. All right? You're really not going to get it. Trying to find a bloody photo of him. How do United... For fuck's sake. Man, United move forward from here. Like, piss off. We're still 3 points off fourth. Like, we're just lucky that we're in a season where everybody's really stumbling. Arsenal, congratulations on winning the league, Arsenal. Right? They finally did it. They kind of needed everybody else to really constantly trip themselves up, but that's happening. And that's why we're sort of completely sort of fine and in the mix. But I just can't have any belief or trust in this team or manager or players or performances or even bloody first half and second half. United at the first half well, obviously that's probably changed after this one. Man, it was... Look, we've got how long? Sunday at 12, right? I think the best thing that could possibly happen is the fact that we played 3 times next week. Sunday, Thursday. We play Sunday, then Thursday, then Monday. And it's really good for United that we're actually going to have regular games. I think that will probably help to a certain degree. But who am I kidding, man? Who am I kidding? What are we saying down there? United's latest... I don't know how we're going to cope with that on Mbeumo and Ahmed. If I'm being completely honest, I think Mbeumo was out of the game yesterday. What happened is when they went down to 10 men, you just had Grealish and Mikalenko doubling up. Every single time Ahmed had the ball, I really wanted to see him sort of turn back inside and whip a left-footed crossing, but like they were just getting doubled up on the whole time. Captain T1, you're talking about we always lose the midfield battle. Yesterday was a day to start Bruno in the 10 to help the midfield. Anybody come out of that thinking that we lost the midfield battle yesterday? I don't really think there was a midfield battle. It was completely passive from Everton because that's what they needed to do because they went down to 10 men. There wasn't a battle. But in every single duel as well, lost. Ball's up there for a header. There was one point where United, I think it was towards the end of the first half. Well, it went in. Everton won one header. Went another header. Then another header. It was like 3 or 4 like uncontested headers that they had in and out of their own box. And I was like what? And again, like, we've seen that this team can pick and choose. It's up and down. It's 7 out of 10 performances, followed by a 1 out of 10 performance, followed by a 9 out of 10, followed by a 0.3 out of 10. That's why we live in the land of the extremes as fans, because the players deliver the land of the extremes in terms of performances, in terms of application, week in, week out. You cannot possibly trust Manchester United, the most untrustable team in the league. Although pretty predictable yesterday. I wouldn't say it was a surprise, but it's just really annoying when they live up to that sort of expectation. What are we saying down here? Can you read the stats? How many games did Amorim win after being 1-0 down? Well, I don't know. I'm not Opta. I can't pull that out of Mars. Someone down there saying reminds you of pre-season versus Everton. Pre-season? I don't really know. I don't really care. Honestly, I'm just a bit... Look. I'll have my lunchtime video out. Unfortunately, it's not going to be pretty watching. I think it's going to be very reflective and very fair. It won't be anything personal in it. It won't be anything over the top. But like, well done. You've taken all the good work that you've done against Sunderland. We just won at Anfield for the first time in 10 years. Fantastic game. Well done. Just beating Brighton 4-2 at Old Trafford. I had a great time. Well done. Forest, I was frustrated at Forest, yeah. But 2-2, Okay, it could have been worse. Frustrated, but that seems like a fair result. Spurs, you're whoppers, mate. They are crap. Absolutely crap. 1-0 up, cruise control. Was it Casemiro and Maguire going off? Maybe, maybe not. Casemiro's on the pitch for the full 90 yesterday. Well, not the full 90, for 60 yesterday. Played the exact same with him without him. I just can't trust you. And that's the worst thing about this team. I cannot trust my football club. I cannot trust my players to do what they are paid to do. I cannot trust Manchester United to be professional. You just can't trust them. Let's see what happens against Crystal Palace. Let's see what happens against West Ham. Let's see what happens against Wolves. Hey, you might win 3 in a row. But then who's going to back us to beat Villa? Nobody. Who's going to back us to beat Newcastle? Nobody. United are basically a heart rate monitor of a football club. Doot. Currently, a bit dead after that. Let me read a couple of your comments out. Someone talking about Semenyo bid in January. Mate, if anybody, I swear to God, if people suggest signing Semenyo and playing him a wing back, like, come on, dude. That's the most like peak football manager conversation I've ever heard in my entire life. Let's go and sign one of the best inside forwards in the Premier League, who's probably on the verge of being world class in the right environment. And let's play him a wing back. Someone down there coming and saying that we don't have the squad depth. Like, dude, come off it. You're not telling me that that game yesterday was a consequence of Xerxes playing. No, that was every man to a team. Every single person, every single player. You could probably maybe exempt Bruno from that if you, but no. I'm just kind of, I don't really want to gloss it. I think every single person. Who should be playing a wing back? Ahmad should be right wing back. End of story. Left wing back. I pointed it out, well, it's not exactly rocket science, but I pointed it out as a problem position a good while ago. That problem hasn't gone away. Dorgu, you just can't, like, as I said, your greatest friend this season is some element of consistency. Even if it's only a 5 out of 10 performance, but you put it in every single week. You're dependable in defence. You don't make too many mistakes. You're struggling going forward, but all right, the fundamentals, you can't go and put a 6.5 performance against Spurs and then play a 1 out of 10. Again, you can't do it. You cannot have that lack of consistency. You know, like Luke Shaw maybe at left wing back, but then you know full well you're not probably going to get the overlaps. It makes us, we are a right-sided heavy team. Anyway. Yeah, I know that squad depth is a factor, but like, come on. Like, come on. There are so many other things that were way more apparent yesterday than squad depth. And I'm talking, you go back to the basics and the fundamentals. About the players, about the application, about the in-game management, about the subs. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well done, United. You've officially undone the good work that you did. And it's not because you lost against Everton. And I want to end on that point here. It is not because we lost against Everton. It was the manner of the defeat. It was the manner of the performance. You did that for a full 90 at Old Trafford. You did it for 75 minutes against 10 men. It's just, it's inexcusable. It's completely and utterly inexcusable. Right. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you at lunchtime for I suppose, the final word on that game. But 16 days we waited for that. And they've officially just stepped right back to the end of the Brentford game after that. Idiots.